What's your name, buddy? Are you here to buy some medicine? Where are your mom and dad?
Are you lost?
No, I'm not. My name's Ayu, and I'm here because...
Hey there, Chi-Chi. Hi, Gray. What's going on?
Hi, Traveler and Paimon.
You've actually come at the perfect time. This little boy seems to have gotten himself lost. I think he must be new to the city. Probably wandered away from his parents and...
No, listen to me. I'm not the one who's lost. It's my dad.
Your dad? How does a fully grown man manage to get lost in Liyue Harbor?
Well, my dad's always been kind of forgetful. In the past, he was just a little slow to react sometimes. But I'm worried that it's getting more serious.
So, what about your mom?
She went out a few days ago to gather some herbs for my dad, but she still hasn't come back. Meanwhile, my dad's been getting worse and worse. I remembered that the owner of Boo Pharmacy always runs a clinic in Chingsa Village during the Lantern Ride, so I thought, why don't I take Dad to Liyue Harbor to see him there? When we got to the city gate, I took a moment to ask the Millith guards for directions to the pharmacy. I asked the Millith guys to go find him, but he said they won't be able to send that many people.
You came to the right place. We're pros at finding...
Junction can help. She has...
Hey, who's talking about me behind my back?
Chengsheng, Chi-Chi meant that as a compliment. There's no need to be upset. Hello, child. You mentioned that you were looking for the owner of Boo Pharmacy. How might we be of service?
You have a talking snake? Oh, are you Uncle Baizhu?
Uncle Baizhu?
Chengsheng, now's not the time. My dear boy, could you tell me more about your father's condition? As much as you can recall.
Yes, Dr. Baizhu.
I see. And your family lives near Chingsa Village, you say? I visit patients there frequently, but I don't recall ever seeing you or your parents.
Uh-huh. My mom doesn't like meeting other people, especially during Lantern Ride. She always tells me to just stay at home and keep my dad company.
Is that so? Ayu, by any chance, is your mother's name Jiangli?
Whoa, yeah, it is. Do you know my mom, Dr. Baizhu?
I certainly do. Gui, Chi-Chi, are there any pressing matters in the pharmacy at the moment? Ayu's parents are old acquaintances of mine, so I would very much like to assist with the search. Would the two of you have time to join me?
Don't forget us two. We already told Ayu that we'd help.
Oh, really? Well, that's wonderful.
Chi-Chi and I need to clear up the shop front first, but one...
Family is...
Thank you. Then I'll leave you to handle the pharmacy. Traveler, Paimon, why don't you come with me and Ayu?
They searched to the north, but couldn't find anyone who matched the description.
Well, that complicates things. The city folks say that...
Excuse me, sirs. Have you found out anything about my dad yet?
Ah, hey there, buddy. Dr. Baizhu.
The boy asked for our help, so we're here.
Oh, thank goodness. We were just discussing how we're... As for updates...
The guards at the crossing up ahead...
Luhua Pool? The terrain there can be tricky to navigate. Let's hope he hasn't run into any trouble.
You will?
Sorry we weren't able to find your dad.
That's okay. Thank you for trying.
Oh no, it's... Hey, you! Stop! Don't go any further!
Watch where you're going!
Oh, dear customer, Wangsheng Funeral Parlor does appreciate your patronage, but you needn't hasten the inevitable. Are you all right? Huh?
Dad!
Hey, Hu Tao!
My, who do we have here? It's the Traveler in Paimon, and... my worst nightmare.
I see she still hasn't warmed to you.
Thank you, Director Hu, for saving this man.
Dad, are you okay? Do you recognize me? It's me, Ayu!
You're... Ayu? Who am I?
Your name is Jiao Liang, and you live just west of Qingse Village. You were supposed to come to Liyue Harbor to see the doctor. Remember? Does that jog your memory?
Oh, my name is Jia Liang.
Uh-oh. He seems in really bad shape. We need to get him back to... Sorry, Hu Tao. Gotta dash. Dinner's on us next time.
Hold on a second. You're not seriously thinking of taking him to Boop?
Huh?
Come on, Baizhu. Don't tell me you haven't noticed it. Didn't your master... Why do I get the sense that you spotted them right away?
Use what? What are you talking about?
There are traces of god remains in Jia Liang's system.
Yes, but more importantly, they're on the verge of an outburst. If that happens, the consequences will be unthinkable.
I'm sorry. What?
God remains? There's no need to worry, Director Hu. It is the sworn duty of all who practice medicine to cure illnesses and save lives. What reason would I have to neglect a patient in need who is right there in front of me? Besides, it was my late master's dying wish to be able to save this patient in particular. Perhaps out of respect for him...
Now you're bringing my great-uncle into this? Baizhu, just what are you planning this time?
Merely to cure this man, nothing more. But of course, if you...
Oh, really? I thought I was persona non grata at Boo Boo Pharmacy. You're being unusually generous. Okay, deal. We're not gonna... I'm happy to do it your way, but... only for my great...
You must be pleased you brought the Traveler along. Otherwise, this would have been a much more vexing ordeal.
Well, time is of the essence. Blockages within the cardiovascular system, reduced blood flow and energy circulation? I see. I suppose this must have caused the cognitive abnormalities.
Dr. Baizhu, how bad is it? Can you cure him?
Don't you worry. Baizhu's a really great doctor. He's sure to find a way. Isn't that right, Baizhu?
Ayu, do you know when your father first started displaying the...
I'm not sure. He's been like this for as long as I can remember.
So it's been a long time. No, I haven't. Come and see me again tomorrow morning. I promise that...
Thank you, Dr. Baizhu. Thank you.
If you still have any misgivings, Director Hu, please feel free to hang around.
However, it would be best if you step outside this room. A doctor must be able to focus.
Yes, of course.
See you tomorrow, Baizhu and Changcheng.
Bye for now, every...
Are you ready, Baizhu?
Ready as I'll ever be. I'm used to it by now. Come on, let's get started.
All's well that ends well, huh? You know, Paimon's kind of curious after hearing Baizhu mention those people from his past. What do you... Yeah, you must be curious, too.
idling time on admiring the scenery, the spectacled snake-bedecked docs doing surgery. Hello, you busy bees, and what do you have to discuss with the funeral director? Actually, don't tell me. Let me get...
Guilty as charged. Oh, and also, how come you and Baizhu could...
Huh? I thought I told you once before. Wangsheng Funeral Parlor was first founded to fight back against the vengeful... Well, it is a dusty old tale by this point. Long story short, in the ancient world, dead gods were acting up. So these days, we don't deal with the wrath of the gods anymore, but...
Okay, Paimon gets it now. Wait, so...
Almost certainly from his master, who was also my great-uncle. Baizhu's master was my grandpa's younger brother, a former deputy director of Wangsheng.
Wow, fancy that! Huh. So...
According to my grandpa, he and my great-uncle once went traveling together when they were young. That pharmacist must have cast some sort of spell on my great-uncle. My grandpa had a huge argument with him, so my grandpa inherited the funeral parlor, while my great-uncle stayed in Chenyu Vale to practice.
Funeral director to doctor is a pretty big career change. Kinda hard to imagine.
If he had just become a regular doctor, there would have been no issue. After all, the Wangsheng Funeral Parlor was... But according to my grandpa, the pharmacist they met had a very ominous aura about him. And on top of that, the kind of medicine practiced in the Chenyu Vale tradition goes against the natural order of things.
In what way?
Don't know. My grandpa didn't know the specifics. And you've seen how wary Baizhu is around me. He'd never tell me anything. But even that says to me that he definitely has something to hide. One thing I do know about Baizhu is that he's obsessed with the idea of immortality. But whether that has anything to do with what he's hiding is hard to say. Anyway, so I will be sticking around here for now to keep a close eye on the situation. Maybe tomorrow I'll finally figure out what he's up to.
After all that, it seems like we have more questions than answers. Never mind. We'll just have to ask Baizhu himself about all of this tomorrow. It's a new day! Let's go back to Boo Boo Pharmacy and check out how Jialiang is doing.
Dad!
Oh, are you?
Dad, you remember me!
Yes, I remember now. Oh, are you?
Don't worry, Dad. I got the Adventurers Guild to help us look for her. And Dr. Baizhu's gonna help too. Right now, all you need...
Great. That's wonderful. I can't thank you enough, Dr. Baizhu. My pleasure, really. It's the least I can do to honor my late master's dying wish. If anything, I should... Not at all, Dr. Baizhu. You're still in the early stages of recovery.
I suggest you stay up.
Director Who, do you have any further reservations?
It seems like the evil presence is gone after all. But how did you accomplish...
That would be a trade secret, I'm afraid. Though I regret to say that Boo Boo Pharmacy cannot offer to reimburse Wangsheng Funeral Parlor for any revenue lost.
Oh, come on, Baizhu. I'm not that unreasonable.
Yeah, I've been stuck indoors for too long.
Yes, of course. Everyone, please
Suffering now, are we? Did you seriously expect to cover it up just by putting on a brave face and But in any case, why must you keep this a secret from everybody?
Who's there?
Ah!
Why did you follow us here? Oh, it's nothing.
What did I just say about Traveler? Paimon. The truth is, instead, he transferred some of his own life force to his patient. Baizhu.
My predecessors in medicine forged a contract with Changsheng. Every successor to this contract is able... I believe the irregularities with Jialiang's heart meridian were likely caused by a poison. The poison has not been purged from Jialiang's system. Rather, I infused him with some of my own...
Changsheng? You can do that? Huh. Hey, I'll have you know that I commanded the respect of even the Adepti. I was treating patients with Baiju's master's master long before he ever set eyes on his first medical... Whoa. Guess...
Please, that's enough.
Wait a sec. Huto was saying that the branch of medicine you studied uses...
Hardly. Changsheng helps to keep my chi in balance, so there is no great harm done.
Still, Baiju's life force is not unlimited. Traveler, Paimon, would you lend this dummy a hint? Baizhu, don't you think you should seize...
Thank you,
Huh. Paimon doesn't think we've seen this...
The poison in Jialiang's system... Yes. I asked Ayu this morning before you arrived. Let's head there together once I've asked, as well as investigating...
Let's find shelter, quick! Watering works on plants, but not people.
Behold!
Whoa! There's a house all the way out here? Huh. It's so well hidden, Paimon's never noticed it before.
Nor have I. And I've hosted clinics at Qingsa Village many times in the past, if you ask me.
Oh, that reminds Paimon. We meant to ask earlier, but it slipped our minds in the rush to get here.
She was indeed. We studied medicine together under the same master near She is several years older than I and also began her travels far earlier.
Supposedly, she met an herb gatherer sometime during her travels. And wait, Changsheng, are you saying neither of you?
Jiang Li did occasionally come back to Chenyu Vale to see our master, but for whatever reason, she hardly... The last time she visited us, she and master had some sort of quarrel. We never heard from her after that.
Quarrel? What happened? I don't know. I did not...
Nor did master ever explain it to me. All he would say is that should I ever...
Oh, so that's why you went to such extreme lengths to help Jialiang.
No. Even if my master had never said anything...
Paimon never knew you were so selfless, Baizhu. Paimon always had you down as the sneaky, scheming type.
So a few words from me is enough to dispel all your suspicions?
What the... Okay, that was the most suspicious sounding thing you've ever said.
Let's leave the idle chatter there for now. Jiang Li has lived in this house for many years. Let's split up. But if anyone finds anything, we'll examine it together.
Traveler, Paimon, come quick! What is this?
Changsheng and I found a hidden compartment. This is what was hidden inside.
Huh. You sense it too? You're right. This is a poison concocted using god remains. Is it? Breathing? Paimon's not seeing things, is she?
No, your eyes do not deceive you. I do believe the poison in this bottle is... Some toxins act a lot like living organisms. I read about this once in the Origins and Symptoms of Diseases. This ancient class of poisons consists of mother and minor loads, capable of sustaining a connection over vast distances. If it's a concoction of this kind we're dealing with, then both the poison in Jialiang's system and this one here are likely minor loads. Offshoots, essentially.
Offshoots? So, the main body is somewhere else?
Correct. Whoever is administering the poison can manipulate the source to indirectly control the poisoned individual's behavior and even cognition. Similarly, the poisoned individual will hear, to a varying extent, the call of the source.
The call of the... Wait. So, back when Jialiang ran off, maybe that explains where he was heading!
Only one thing could have been drawing him there. The source of the god remains used as the poison's key ingredient. The mother...
This is getting crazier and crazier. Hey, why... Since this poison was carefully hidden away in a secret compartment... You mean... Jialiang? Think a little harder, Paimon. Huh? So you're saying... It was Jiang Li? Wait, but... That doesn't make any sense either! Why would she poison her own husband?
I agree. It makes little sense. Jiang Li does not strike me as the kind of person who would do such a thing.
Look at the facts, though. How many people in the entirety of Liyue have the ability to concoct...
It's too early to draw any conclusions. We should question Jia Liang about it once he has made more progress in his recovery. Yes. According to the Origins and Symptoms of Diseases, the minor loads will disappear if we can find and destroy the source of these god remains, do you know anything about god remains in Qingsa village?
Even the history books have no record of this. Didn't you used to be on good terms with the Adepti, though? You sure they didn't tell you anything about this? Well,
Changsheng's memories and powers are not what they were in her prime. These days, she has to enter a contract with a mortal and share their life force just to sustain her own life. I fear that such ancient events are long gone from her memory by now.
Whoa, what? Enter a contract? Share life force? Hey, plenty of people would jump at the chance to join forces with a powerful being like me. With my assistance in rebalancing your chi, not only can you extend your lifespan, but you will also be stronger. Stronger and healthier? Wow, that's amazing! Baizhu, maybe when you retire, you can let Paimon sign a contract with Changsheng for a few days.
Unfortunately, Changsheng's contract has strict requirements regarding the host's temperament. None of her hosts have ever been...
Temperament? Hey! What are you trying to say? Ugh! Paimon's mad! You're getting ugly nicknames, both of you! Baizhu, you're... Mannequin Man! Changsheng, you're just... a pain in the neck! This is exactly why your natural
All right, everybody, calm down. Back to the matter at hand.
With how antisocial they are? If it were up to them, they'd go, what?
Seems you're as well connected as they...
Oh, if you're talking about who Paimon thinks you're talking about, you better do the honors.
You called?
Gets Paimon every time.
Aren't all Adepti in the habit of materializing out of thin air like this?
Well, this is unexpected.
Huh? It's you.
Baizhu of Bubu Pharmacy. I do believe I've had the pleasure before. The Lantern Rite, when we met briefly, I was unaware of your true identity. I must apologize for the discourtesy.
Huh? You two already know each other?
Our paths have crossed once before. I sense the presence of evil spirits. Is this why you called me? So someone has been concocting demonic poison. Too often, fervent desires drive mortals to abandon all regard for their own sake. I now know what you seek. It is true that a god's remains are buried beneath the foundation. A vile monster known as the Ch once wrought havoc over this land. Before it was subdued by Rex Lapis. The land was finally cleansed of poison when Rex Lapis used statues in his likeness to seal the serpent's remains. Jinxa Village was founded some time after. The seal is still mostly intact. If the Ch is the source, then it must be some of its blood leaking from deep underground. However, its aura is faint and barely detectable. I do not like to intervene against mortals unless... But when demonic forces are involved, things can spiral out of control. If that happened... Nothing. I do not wish to sway decisions that are mortals to make, but immortality may not be the blessing that you imagine it to be.
I shall treasure your words of instruction, Master Adeptus.
Farewell.
What a strange Adeptus. Rather different from the way I remember them.
That's Xiao for ya! And thanks to him, we finally got some concrete info to go off of.
If the god remains are leaking from underground, Jiangli must be paying a visit to a subterranean cave on her herb-gathering trips. If we can find the cave...
Master, there's a problem.
Gui? Did you run all the way from Bubu Pharmacy?
What happened? Don't panic. Just catch your breath and tell me everything.
It's Jiaoliang. He was fine one minute, and then he suddenly took a turn for the worse.
Already? How? Based on past experience.
It seems that my worst fears have been... Everyone, back to
Dad! What's wrong? Dad?
Don't be scared. Dr. Baizhu will be back soon.
How is he doing?
Dr. Baizhu, you're back! My dad was doing fine earlier, but then he...
When Gui left, he was...
Gui, please take Jiaoliang to the back room and prepare for...
Yes, of course.
Don't worry, Ayu. I will cure your father.
Baizhu's not gonna use Changsheng's secret art again, is he? Is there really no other way to save Jiaoliang?
How are you feeling, Dad? Are you still hurting anywhere? You're not gonna suddenly collapse again, are you?
Much better, Ayu. I'm feeling much better. In fact, wait, where's...
Master said he needed to take a quick rest and asked me to bring you out of the treatment room. He hasn't emerged yet, so he must still...
Oh, really? Well, I don't know how I can begin to repay him for saving my life.
No, the adventure is...
I'll come with...
Don't forget what Master said. You're...
Though, on the bright side...
Traveler, Baizhu hasn't shown his face ever since he... Huh?
Huh?
You're finally awake? That was far too risky.
There was no time. I had no other choice. Jiang Li's design is quite brilliant. She makes numerous
So, how much longer do you think...
They've been outside waiting for you the whole time while you were asleep.
Surely he hasn't. There's no...
Who's talking behind our backs again?
Ah! Baizhu! Changsheng!
Of course. There's no need...
Jialiang seemed fine yesterday.
I... made an error, and as a result...
What? You mean...
Yes. But more pertinently, the poison in Jialiang... Jialiang has a rare congenital heart condition, and ongoing treatment is essential to maintaining healthy functioning of his heart meridian. Though it was created from god remains, this formula...
Had he not taken it all these years, he'd...
Still, using poison to treat a disease is hardly a viable long-term solution. Moreover, the longer he relies...
That explains why Ayu said his dad has been getting worse.
God remains are extremely dangerous to be around, because humans have no natural defense against. I fear that the situation is just as that Adeptus described.
I never suspected that even Jiang Li would turn to sacrifice one's own life to save others. To go beyond...
Well, I think in any case, I have stabilized Jialiang's condition for her regular exposure to God, and given that she's already been missing for several days, I am fearing the worst.
It's me, Traveler, Dr. Baizhu.
Ah! It's Jialiang!
Dr. Baizhu, you've already done so much for my family. After all, if it wasn't for me, she wouldn't have had to put herself in harm's way in the first place. I'm sure I'll be able to remember.
Be careful. If you get too agitated...
No! Before I forget everything.
This trip will be extremely dangerous, and...
I never expected to live this long. There's only one thing I fear now, and that's that I'll forget her again before we manage to find her.
Very well. Then follow me.
Dr. Baizhu, are you heading out again?
Yes. This could be a long one. Please add an extra measure of mistgrass pollen and 1 dose...
Doc...
Hop to it now.
Okay.
Squall and Fury!
on the gale.
That strange feeling is back. It's just like the day I went missing. It's as if something inside me is trying to guide me somewhere.
The Motherlode's influence is growing stronger. But is it Jialiang? Can you sense which direction the...
I think it's... this way. Yes, I'm sure of it. I feel a dull ache in my heart. This must be the way. This place feels familiar. I think I've been here before.
There is an inauspicious presence here. Even...
I think I remember this place.
Jialiang, are you okay?
No, I have to keep...
What shall we do?
This place gives Paimon the creeps. Who knows what we're gonna find up ahead?
The digging marks here appear amateur and rather old. I suspect it is a thieves' tunnel.
A thieves' tunnel? Paimon has heard rumors about treasure around these parts before. Maybe it was the treasure hoarders that dug this tunnel.
Judging by the tools they left behind, it's certainly a possibility. But why did they abandon this place without even stopping to pack up their tools?
I remember now. She took me here once and told me that she'd found a way to save me in this cave. But she said that the method would cause me to... curses! Why can't I remember what she said?
Easy, Jialiang. Come on, let's keep going.
The doctor will see you now.
A bitter pill to...
Emerge, right here, right now.
Service with a smile!
A sight to behold.
Whoa, there's a sensor here. Those treasure hoarders sure made themselves at home.
I believe this sensor was used to burn a monster-repelling
A monster-repelling incense? You sure? 'Cause we did run into that group of monsters just now.
The incense was burned several days ago. If I had to guess, the monsters we fought just now were enticed here by some entity deeper inside the cave. No doubt an encounter with the very same entity was what prompted the treasure hoarders to flee and abandon their designs on this cave. After them, Jiang Li was the next person to discover this place and what lies inside. But to her, it presented an opportunity to save Jia Liang's life, albeit as a last resort.
That's right. This sensor, it belongs to Jiangli. Yes, this was the place. This is where...
Xiao Liang!
I'm fine. Let's keep going. I can feel it. I can feel it. We're getting close. We're almost there. It's right up ahead. The place where we made a pact together to...
Aha! We can keep going now!
From the looks of it, the energy released by this mechanism can not only clear barriers, but also be conducted by corresponding mechanisms. Perhaps it's something we can make use of. Mindless.
Emerge, right here, right now. Dear me, right here. Emerge, right now.
Back here, please! Hey, watch the packages!
Seems like an emergency.
The doctor was seeing.
Mind the side effects.
Emerge, right here, right now. Nothing lasts forever.
Jiangli!
Look out! There's a monster next to her!
The god remains must have lured them here. Watch my back.
This is order.
Right here, right now.
The doctor was seeing.
Mind the side effects. Remember, health comes first.
Nervous with a smile. The doctor was seeing.
This seems like an emergency. A bitter pill to swallow.
Dr. Baizhu, how serious is it? Is she...
I can still feel a pulse, but her condition is quite grave. The god remains here are encroaching on her cognition, much as the poison in your system did to you. If we don't eliminate it soon, then even if we save her life, I fear that she may never wake up.
Then, what are we waiting for? Let's just...
It's not as simple as that. The poison within Jialiang's body is if the source is purged,
and the poison within Jialiang's body... Oh no.
Indeed. If the god remains here are purged...
I wondered when this day might come.
Wait! But we've all been worked by you. You're a great doctor. Surely you gotta know of some...
You could continue to take the poison, which would buy you some time. As for
It appears to me that she was striving to concoct your medicine for you. Right up until the moment...
Dr. Baizhu, give it to me straight.
The god remains have reached her internal organs. Under ordinary circumstances, I would give her less than 3 days.
But what would... Dr. Baizhu, I'm all too aware of the dangers of god remain. If I continue to sustain my own life, I know for a fact that I should have died over a decade ago. The fact that I've been around to see how if my choice can bring Jiangli back.
Jialiang.
After cheating death for so long, it seems I've grown somewhat... Traveler, Dr. Baizhu.
Of course.
Thank you, everyone. And I'm sorry that...
Jialiang. Baizhu, Changsheng. Is there really nothing else you can do?
I am sure that over the years, Jiangli will have tried all the conventional methods known to humankind. As for...
Mortals are fated to grow old and pass on when their natural lifespan runs out. If it were so easy to combat the natural processes...
What a crazy situation. Jiangli risked it all to save Jialiang's life. And now, Jialiang has to sacrifice himself to save...
I've seen many final farewells in my time.
In the human realm, all things must come to an end. Is it at least... That's what generation...
The path they chose was indeed a heroic one. But when I think of those who would willingly sacrifice themselves for others, I cannot help but think that theirs are the lives least deserving of death.
When all this began, we agreed that once Ayu was old enough to help you... If you could only see him now. I've said my goodbyes.
As you wish.
It will eat away at both your cognition and your memories.
I'll take it. At the very least.
Mom! Don't fret, Ayu. I will...
Why would these memories come to mind now? The longer we live... Oh, how I would love to hear your voice one last time.
Jialiang! 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 Jialiang!
Dad, are you awake?
Jiangli, are you? Didn't I... Huh? What are these?
How does it feel to come back to life?
Do you feel strange or different in any way? If so, could you describe it to me in detail?
Dr. Baizhu, I thought that I was going to...
Die? You did indeed. As things stand now, you're more akin to a zombie than a human.
I'm a zombie?
That's right. Before we set off, I asked Chi-Chi to prepare an elixir of immortality. With its help, you have been suspended in the space between life and death. Of course, this is but a crude imitation of an Adeptus art. I don't expect it to extend your life indefinitely. Whether it will keep you alive for a few days, a few months, or a few years, I'm as interested as you to find out. But, however long you have left, I believe it should be more than sufficient time for you to say your final goodbyes before departing the world in peace. I hope that Director Hu finds this arrangement to be a satisfactory one.
An elixir of immortality? How'd you cook that up? Ugh. Leave it to you to work on something like that behind my back.
It's a work in progress that hardly lives up to its name, and it would have had no effect were it not for Jialiang's iron will. In the end, I am merely a doctor. I understand very little of the great principles governing life and death and the perpetual cycle of yin and yang. All I know is that if I'm presented with a life that deserves to be saved, I will do everything in my power to save them. And even this would have counted for nothing without Director Hu's assistance. After all, did you not tell Jialiang?
Oops. And I'm busted.
Without Director Hu nudging things in the right direction, we may not have found Jiangli in time.
No wonder he didn't mention the elixir back then. I thought he was being frank.
Director Hu told me to keep her suggestion a secret.
Never underestimate a serpent's sense of smell.
All I wanted was to help Jialiang find his missing wife as soon as possible, so that he could be on his way to the afterlife without any unfulfilled Leave it to Boo Boo Pharmacy to snatch the perfect opportunity right out of my hands at the last hurdle. One Chi-Chi was enough of a conundrum. The last thing I need's another one. If I'd known this was coming, I'd have whisked him off to the Wangsheng funeral parlor the moment I found him.
You stay away from my dad! When I grow up, I'm gonna become an even better doctor than Mom and Baizhu, and cure Dad for good!
Oh, is that right? Well, you wouldn't be the first person who's tried to put Wangsheng Funeral Parlor out of business. If you're serious about it, you'll have your work cut out for you. Traveler, Paimon, I'll catch you all another time.
Is she finally gone?
All's well that ends well. If you ask Paimon, we should probably do something to celebrate this hard-earned family reunion. At times like this...
It feels like it was a whole lifetime ago when I last talked with Zhongli and Ayu around the dinner table.
Yay! Paimon can't wait! Alright, first things first.
Wait up! I'll come too!
Baizhu, thank you so much for everything you've done for us.
Don't mention it, Jiangli. I was just doing my duty.
Just your duty, huh? Baizhu.
Yeah.
I've taken a look at your elixir of immortality. It's not altogether dissimilar from the poison I concocted in terms of the way it functions.
I have to say, Jiangli, it was a stroke of genius to use poison to maintain life. I hope you're not too upset at me for copying your methods.
No, not at all. With your intellect, even if you'd never seen my poison, I believe you would have eventually arrived at the same approach. But I'm still impressed by how quickly you managed to gain such a thorough one. Not just that, you even managed to improve upon... Baizhu, be honest with me. Did you try a...
Huh. Told you the truth would surface sooner or later.
Life force isn't the only thing that Changsheng's contract lets you transfer between...
Nothing gets past you, Jiangli. You are correct. Besides life force, Changsheng's secret art also allows for the transfer of toxins and diseases. When I treated Jia Liang for the second time, I transferred some of the poison from his body into my own. Not only did this allow me to alleviate, there is no need to worry about any long-term consequences to my health, however. Now that the...
But you took such a huge risk. If we hadn't destroyed the god's remains... What am I saying? I'm in no... The reason I left our master and went into hiding all those years ago was that he was getting old. But in the end, how were my methods any different? I risked one life to save another. Are all disciples of Chenyu Vale destined to turn out this way? To live a short life?
We are doctors, Jiangli. We ought never say that anyone's fate is...
Baizhu, I can tell that, over the years, you've used the contract with Changsheng to transfer... Can you still stop before it's too late?
I think you know the answer, Jiangli.
Hey, food's ready!
Mom, come and join us. The Traveler taught me a lot.
Yes, darling. Mom will be there in just a second. Baizhu, Chi-Chi, Gui...
There's no need to...
Baizhu, what did Jiang Li mean by...
Every single mortal I've ever...
Wait, that doesn't make any sense.
Long ago, when plagues ravaged the land, one doctor made a pledge to rid the world of pain and suffering. But even the most ingenious mortal medicine could not stay the tide of disease. And after working tirelessly for many years, even his dearest loved ones fell sick and bade their final farewell. Legends told of an herb lord in Chenyu Vale who could cure any illness known to mankind. The doctor sought the herb lord, but found only a white snake, its breathing weak and its power all but spent.
Sign this contract and let our lives be joined. Then I will impart to you the secret art of healing. But be warned, this art will harm your own health.
With means beyond human ken, the doctor could now reverse the process of death. And yet, the time still came to say goodbye. Only now, the one departing was the doctor, his life force spent. His final act in life was to pass on the contract to his final patient, his favorite disciple. The disciple chose to dedicate their life to saving the lives of others. And generation upon generation followed in these footsteps. Since I inherited this contract, I've always respected the path taken by my predecessors, and followed it myself unquestioningly. That is until I tried to use the art to save my own disciple's beloved. She begged me not to use up my own life force. She said that this art is a poison chalice, an evil and unnatural practice. She did not wish to sacrifice one life for the sake of another, when both were lives she treasured. Only then did it occur to me. Did I not suffer when my master passed away, just as patients' families do at their loved one's deathbed? Are not the lives cut short by this contract just as worthy of saving as any patient's? What is this contract to us? Medicine or poison? Alas, I no longer have enough time left to find the answer. I entrust to your care both Changsheng and this final question. May you find a remedy for this conundrum, which has ailed us so.
Time and again, no matter how much I try to warn them or balance their chi, I can never save them. And you? What's your answer?
If I abandoned the contract and left you without a host, what would happen?
I suppose I'd spend my final moments taking a nice nap on Mount Yaojun. Then I'd be reunited with my old friends and your predecessors.
Then it's decided. If there's a life in front of me that deserves to be saved, why shouldn't I do everything within my power to save it?
Once again, it's the same answer. So be it. Close your eyes. Who knows how many more people will take on this contract?
None. This contract will end with me.
My contract has strict requirements on the host's natural temperament. All my hosts have been most pure of heart.
But when one with an altruistic nature gains access to this art, they are more seduced than the average person by the miracle of overturning the laws of life and death. Though they know better than anyone else the fate that awaits them, when faced with the sorrows of humanity and the pain of losing their nearest and dearest, they cannot help but reach beyond human means. They are like moths that throw themselves into the flame, seeking a glimmer of hope in a dark world filled with pain and suffering.
So, Baizhu, does that mean...
I suppose that would make me a moth that yearns for the light, but doesn't want to be burned to a crisp. Changsheng's art can transfer pain and suffering between people, but it cannot reduce the total amount of pain in the world. It's just like we witnessed. Either Jia Liang feared for Jiang Li's life, or Jiang Li grieved over Jia Liang's sacrifice. I have nothing but the utmost respect for my predecessors, who sacrificed their lives for their principles. But I do not wish to join their ranks, nor do I wish to pass on this contract to anyone else in the future.
Huh? But didn't you already transfer a ton of diseases onto yourself?
What makes a poison poison? And what makes a disease a disease? When it comes down to it, are not both mechanisms that affect the operations of the human body? If disease is defined as deviation from normal functioning, then who knows? Perhaps the true elixir of immortality could in fact be a kind of poison. Many may view the notion of searching for immortality in poisons and illnesses as a flagrant violation of the natural order. But to me, it is no different from the way our ancestors tested the medicinal qualities of herbs by sampling each and every one. I don't want those who come after me to lose their lives to this contract. Nor do I wish for Chengsheng to perish from losing her host. Precisely. I will be Chengsheng's final host, and the tradition of passing down the contract will end with me.
Even the gods of old struggle to achieve true immortality. First you want to save others, then you...
But isn't wanting to have it all what makes us human? For a selfish moth like me, who's afraid of the flame yet yearns for the light, the only path forward is up towards the moon.
For what?
Dr. Baizhu, Traveler! What are you still chatting about? The food's about to get cold.
We also have coconut milk for Changsheng and Paimon.
Okay, fine. Let's go grab some food. Paimon has a bunch of burning questions, but they can wait till after we've eaten.
I do envy Paimon sometimes. Eating her fill is enough to satisfy her body and mind.
True. And yet, although we call them simple pleasures, are such things as these not precisely why we mortals cling desperately to the life we have?